Hello again, college football fans. It is Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, and I'm coming at you with your Week 11 predictions. Already to Week 11, it doesn't seem possible, but that's the way all of these college football seasons go. We only get 3.5 hours, 12 precious times a year, and then that's the way it goes. It just, as soon as you hit September, it's like a toilet bowl. The rest of the year just flushes away in no time. And starting off nationally, I don't really have any good upset watch picks to look for. I'm sure there'll be some upsets this week, but nothing that really stands out. But what I would say to look at, well, Oklahoma is beginning their brutal final stretch run here. And so just watch for it wouldn't be an upset. It wouldn't be a big upset if they lost any one of these last games that they have left. I guess Iowa State would probably be a big underdog, but it still doesn't seem like a huge upset if Oklahoma loses to Baylor or Oklahoma State or Iowa State to me. But anyway, they are beginning their final stretch run that's going to determine a lot about the whole national landscape in college football. Oregon, Washington State is another one to watch out for. That's going to be a rested Washington State team that's coming off a bye week, and that's another one of those Pacific Northwest rivalries that's always a little bit more heated than the rest of the country understands. But that's what they said about Washington, and that was a pretty decent game too. But Oregon just seems like one of those teams that's just kind of got that second loss. They've got that loss that's going to eliminate them from contention. Just seems like they've got that hanging on layaway for them. So we'll have to watch that development. Another one that's a team that I'm still paying a little bit of attention to, and the rest of the country should too, I suppose, Notre Dame. But I kind of feel like because of the way both Notre Dame and Cincinnati are both playing, neither one of those teams are much of a factor in the playoff hunt. But mathematically, they're still in it, so we have to pay attention to what they're doing. And they're going to Virginia. And Virginia's had a pretty decent run the last few years for them, and since it's in their place, and since Notre Dame never beats anybody by very much, it's always worth keeping tabs on them. So we'll watch those three games to see if they shake up any of the playoff hunt landscape. Moving on to the big one, Bama playing nobody, New Mexico State. Couldn't care less. They'll win. Let's just hope they don't look sloppy. My prediction is going to be whatever I said last week for the LSU game, just plug that into this one. And 45-7, Alabama over New Mexico State. Mississippi State at Auburn. This is a tough one for me to pick, but since Auburn has shown me all year under the Brian Harsin era, they are winning games that they're supposed to win and losing games that they're supposed to lose, which, as I've mentioned before, is very un-Auburn, and it's taken me almost the entire season to get used to that, but that seems to be what they're doing. And so they should win this game at home against a Mississippi State team who's good, but they're a team that wins games they're not supposed to, so I have to take that into account. But they are coming off a pretty emotional loss to Arkansas, and I don't believe that Leach is going to be able to work his magic offensively against this Auburn team. Now, I know that the pass defense is not really their forte, not the strong point of the Auburn defense, but I do believe they'll be able to hold Mississippi State to few enough points that Bo Nix and the boys on the other side will be able to generate enough to get out of there with a win. So I still feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game, though. Mississippi State and Auburn both have pretty decent SEC defenses. And the score that I'm looking at in a game like this, I'm going to say 28-17 Auburn. Samford is at Florida. Florida should win, but, Samford, they're a Division I AA team, so Florida has to win. I mean, even in the worst of years, SEC schools win games like this, and they win them big. So I'll say 30-14 Florida. That seems like a reasonable request for Florida at this point to win a game against Samford by 16 points. Georgia at Tennessee. Everybody's going to talk a lot about this game like this is a real chance for Georgia to be upset. I don't see it happening because Tennessee's defense is just not good enough to be in a game like this with a team of this a team that's this good. I expect Tennessee to score some points on Georgia, but expect Georgia to be able to score basically at will. We might have a slow first quarter in this one where maybe, it could be 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, but Georgia will pick up very, very quickly after that. And I see this one ending somewhere in the neighborhood of Georgia 42, Tennessee 20. South Carolina at Missouri. Big game for South Carolina. This is a game that will get them bowl eligible, and that is just worth its weight in gold for a program like South Carolina. They get the extra practice time. They get some more exposure. It's good for recruiting, and all of that has to be running at all cylinders in South Carolina if you want to have a decent program up there in Columbia. And it looks like Shane Beamer has definitely got designs on having a decent program in South Carolina, even before the Florida blowout win, which it was an absolute, phenomenal occurrence for him. They still looked pretty good and looked like he had things in a solid direction before that. And so South Carolina at Missouri, I do expect this to be a hard-fought game, though. Missouri, this is their last gasp. They know that this is probably the last chance for them to get a win this season. And so I would imagine them to be very well prepared for this game and have a little bit of extra grit and determination. But I do not believe that they will be able to score enough points on this South Carolina defense to win this game. But a close game, a battle of Columbias, right? But South Carolina, I like the Gamecocks in this one, 30-24. Texas A&M at Ole Miss. It seems like Ole Miss has lost a lot of steam leading up to this game. A couple weeks ago, I would have had a hard time picking this game, but right now, Texas A&M is on the rise, and Ole Miss seems to be sputtering a little bit at the moment. They've had some injury troubles and a lot of that, but nevertheless, this is a long SEC season to have to get through, and Texas A&M is playing about as good as anybody, especially on the defensive side of the ball in this league right now. Ole Miss should be able to score a few points because that's what they do, but I believe Texas A&M. Now, Calzada is hurt, so that could prevent them, but they're leaning more on their running game right now than anything. And as we all know, Ole Miss's run defense is basically non-existent. So look for Texas A&M to just run wild in Vaught-Hemingway on Saturday, and I like them winning this one 35-24. Kentucky at Vanderbilt. Kentucky should get back to their winning ways, beating up on the whipping boy of the SEC, Vanderbilt, this week. Don't expect Kentucky to score too many points in this one because they exhausted a lot in that Tennessee game last week. That was a tough game. Lots of emotion, I'm sure, in that locker room after that one was over. But expect Kentucky to win this game 28-14, doubling up on Vanderbilt. And Arkansas at LSU, very, very interesting game. Does LSU and the lame gorilla have one more big-time fight in them? My guess is that performance you saw against Alabama last week was the last little drop of gas that Ed Orgeron's going to be able to get out of the tank there in Baton Rouge. It is a night game. It is in Baton Rouge, which is, historically good for the Bengal Tigers down there. But Sam Pittman rebounded really well last week, and expect that to continue. Another low-scoring game here. I believe Arkansas will be able to pull this one out 24-14 over the Bengal Tigers. And that's going to do it for the Week 11 predictions, and we've got a great weekend coming up. Tonight, the new college football playoff rankings will come out. I don't expect there to be any big shockers going on. It shouldn't change too much. Michigan State will drop out, but they'll just be replaced by Ohio State or somebody like that, Oklahoma. And if there's any surprises or shockers, or if anything comes to me, I'll make a video addressing that. But if not, I will see you Sunday with the reactions, and we're getting close to wrapping up this 2021 college football season. And thank you for going through the journey with me. Thank you.